Hi, and welcome to Water Wisdom. I'm Luke with the Alachua County Environmental Protection Department. In this series, we'll build your water wisdom by exploring Alachua County's water. We'll look at how water travels, where it goes, and how people are connected. We'll visit local creeks, wetlands, lakes, and springs, and talk to scientists, organizations, and volunteers that are all working to protect our water. Today, we are at Paynes Prairie. Here is where much of the rainwater that falls over Gainesville eventually ends up. This rainwater flows here through several streams and creeks and eventually flows into Alachua sink behind me. Once this water flows into the sink, it becomes part of our drinking water in the aquifer.
So what is a watershed? Nope, not that type of watershed. Here's a hint though. Look at the ground. It is right where you are. The United States Environmental Protection Agency defines a watershed as an area of land where all the water that is under it or drains off of it goes to a common waterway, such as a stream, lake, estuary, wetland, aquifer, or even the ocean. This diagram shows where water comes from and where it goes. The United States is divided into watersheds. Florida is divided even further into watersheds, and here in Alachua County we have even more watersheds. As you can see, wherever you are in a watershed. That's why it's so important to be mindful of your water use and to keep pollutants out of our water.
This is just one small section of a watershed in Alachua County. All this water flowing behind me fell as rain at some point in time and is now making its amazing journey to the aquifer to keep the springs flowing and to provide us with drinking water. Watersheds are everywhere. It is simply amazing to explore the diverse and interesting travels water takes through the environment. Here is a video focused on Noonan's Lake and the Little Hatchet Creek watershed.
I'm Stacy Greco with the Alachua County Environmental Protection Department. I'm out here at beautiful Palm Point Park on Noonan's Lake. This lake used to be called Lake Pitlachoco by the Seminole Indians. That loosely translates to Lake of Long Boats. Back in 2000, during a drought, the water levels dropped and it revealed some ancient canoes. They dated back to 500 to 5,000 years old. So we know that this lake has been important to our community for a long time. Today, people still use the lake for recreation, like fishing, canoeing, and kayaking. Noonan's Lake also provides important habitat for plants, insects, fish, birds, and alligators. We just saw some bald eagles. Mammals like deer, raccoon, and bobcat hunt or drink from the water and live in the forested area surrounding the lake. Noonan's Lake is an important part of our community, and we want to ensure it's protected into the future. Water quality is an important part of protecting the wildlife that depend on the lake and the recreation we enjoy. Over the years, water quality has declined at Noonan's Lake. When we think about ways to improve water quality here, not only do we have to look at the land that directly surrounds the lake, but we also have to look at the entire watershed that contributes to it. So what is a watershed? A watershed is the area of land that all drains to a single water body. We can use this model to demonstrate. So here, if it rains in this neighborhood or out on this shopping mall, the rainwater is going to flow into the street, into the storm drain, and make its way into the lake where this alligator is. So in the Noonan's Lake watershed, we have three main creeks. We've got Lake Forest Creek, Little Hatchet Creek, and Hatchet Creek that all direct water into the lake. And in the rest of this video, we'll learn about what we can do in the watershed to protect the water quality in those creeks and in Noonan's Lake.
Let's take a closer look at Little Hatchet Creek watershed. We'll talk about how different portions of the watershed can affect water and look at issues along the way.
Here we are further along Little Hatchet Creek. This creek runs in front of Howard Bishop Middle School, Metcalf, and this whole neighborhood. This is what's called an urban area. This is an area where development happens over time. Many of these buildings, parking lots, and roads have areas called impervious areas where water can't soak into the ground.
When it rains, water needs to flow away from the schools and out of our neighborhoods so that these areas do not become flooded. The storm drain system was created to quickly move water off the streets. When it rains, water flows through the storm drain where it continues and sometimes flows to a retention pond that allows the water to slowly seep down. Very often, it flows directly into a creek. Whatever may be on the surface of the land will flow through the storm water into the storm drains and later into our creeks. In this case, Little Hatchet Creek, which we know will eventually flow into Noonan's Lake. Let's think of some pollution ideas that will eventually land up in the water that's introduced here on the land.
If a car is leaking oil in a parking lot or in someone's driveway, that oil and other chemicals may leak into the storm drain. Trash found in the street can get washed into the storm drain when it rains. Animals that live further downstream near the creek may get tangled in the trash or eat part of the trash that causes them harm. There are lots of dogs in neighborhoods. We love our pets. That means there's also a lot of pet waste. When pet waste is left on the ground, the rain can wash it into the storm drain, along with bacteria that can make humans and other animals sick.
Look at all the trash we found. There's even a dirty diaper.
Grass clippings left in your lawn after mowing can clog the storm drains and cause flooding. It is better to collect your yard waste and put them in these bags for people to pick up.
Chemicals used in our yards are washed into storm drains too. Excess fertilizer contributes to algae blooms in our waterways. Algae can reduce oxygen in the water, block sunlight from reaching plants that animals depend on for food, and make fishing tougher. Bug spray that's washed into the water can kill off small organisms that are part of a larger food chain. All of this pollution gets washed into storm drains and carried into Little Hatchet Creek. What we do every day matters to the health of our water. Let's see where Little Hatchet Creek's flow continues.
Here we are in a more natural area of Little Hatchet Creek. This is as the water moves through the swamp. You can see it picking up more tannins as the water is darker. Also, a lot of trash is getting picked up. This is from our residential areas and the roadways that are getting washed into the stream as it moves down. From here, the water continues down to the lake, an area where a lot of people like to recreate for hunting and fishing.
We're back here at Noonan's Lake. We know that water quality has been decreasing over time as pollution's made its way to the lake. We just learned that what we do on the land surface in the entire watershed can influence the lake. So if we all do our part to reduce pollution by doing things like picking up trash, recycling, cleaning up after our pets, keeping grass clippings off of the street, eliminating chemicals from our yards such as pesticides and fertilizers, that we can collectively make a difference and improve the water quality in this lake so that we can continue to enjoy it and the wildlife can thrive.
I'm Luke, and I hope you learned something about watersheds. And remember, wherever you are in a watershed. So do your part and protect our waters. I hope to see you next time. Stay thirsty.